Muchísimas gracias por sintonizar a Talking Rock en Español. Estamos transmitiendo desde la ciudad más feliz del mundo, Anaheim, California. Yo soy su servidor, Héctor Robles, y a mi lado está
Cristian Mejía.
Y vamos a hablar rock en español.
Hey everyone, thanks a lot, for tuning in to Talking Rock en Español. Today is July 22nd, and we're here with Love Star.
Hey, what's up, Love Star?
Hi.
How's it going?
Very good, man. Very good.
I know this is Will, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, and
I'm Adriana.
And
I
Joe's
play
at
bass.
work.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Joe's at work.
all right, and what do you guys play?
Guitar.
I play keyboards and I sing.
All right.
Yeah.
I have noticed recently that you guys have been doing something very impressive, that you guys have actually taken it seems like your band is going up to another level. Can you guys talk about that? What made how did you guys know that you were ready to move up to the next level? Because what you guys are doing now is something completely different than most of the local artists are doing. Can you give us some insight on that?
Well, thank you first off for saying that, because it means a lot to us. No, it's one of those things where, you're always trying to grow and just do the next thing. And, of course, you're always asking yourself, what is the next thing? We've done a few national tours now. We've been out continuing to write songs. And I think the next thing was really just we're writing new material. So who do we get to record? Who do we get to do this? And that's when we really started looking around and seeing who's out there, and came across Tom. And that's kind of how it all started with that whole process, if that's what you're referring to as far as the growth and everything like that.
Well, one of the things is it's I do admire what you guys are doing and have accomplished, because I look back, I want to say maybe 5 years ago, you were a different band. It's
Literally.
You guys were called, if I may say it, you guys were called Grito Mutual at the time.
That wasn't us.
That wasn't you guys? No, it was somebody else. But I do remember, though, going to see to your shows, and there was a lot of people. You guys had definitely a lot of fans. You guys have, and one of the things that I do admire what you guys do is that you guys have a club.
Oh, yeah, a fan club.
A fan club. And that is pretty amazing, because I seen that grow in Mexico. You have a fan club. You guys have a fan club in Mexico, and you guys have one here in LA, in Sacramento, right? Is it Sacramento and Salinas also, or is it just Sacramento?
It's just Sacramento.
But how did that?
Hold on, a fan club?
A fan club.
A real one.
So, and how does that work? I mean, do you guys have people signed up to your email list as a fan club, or if you can elaborate what the fan club means.
The way that started, I met this guy through Facebook. His name is Efren. And he actually asked me if he could start a fan club for us. And we were really honored, we were like, wow, yes, thank you. And he's the one that runs that page, which is Love Star Fans, right? Love Star Fans. But yeah, he's in Sacramento. And then we have another girl who runs the one I think she's from Hermosillo. And from there, she contacts pretty much all of Mexico and people in Mexico. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's how that started.
That's pretty amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
How these fans were able to
find our music.
To find your music and, to assist you in promoting you.
Yeah.
Because I always believe that, fans, you can write a great music, but you need to have the fans.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that are going to help you out, achieve your goals even higher.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just want to applaud those guys for helping you guys out and accomplishing
applaud
those.
that guy every day.
Thanks to them for believing in the band and for doing everything that they're doing. Because, their websites, I don't know if anybody has visited them, but when I went for the first time, I was like, wow, we didn't have our website up yet. And we saw theirs, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's super cool that somebody did all that for us.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Very cool. Actually, you know what? I do want to go back a little bit in time and touch on a few things, because you guys are it's like you guys are also part of this movement that's going on here in LA. But can you take me back a little bit when you guys were like Grito Mutual?
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? Because I know back then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know you were not in it at the moment, right, Will? It was just Adriana, and then you had another
Terry, another girl. Mm-hmm.
beautiful girl in the band. But is it okay to touch on some of those things?
Yeah.
I mean, can we talk about it? Like what happened? Because like I said, I did go to your shows, and there was a lot of movement going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I also did notice that there has always been a change of musicians in this transition.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, Grito Mutual pretty much was a friend of mine. Her name's T.R.E.E. We started that project back in 2005, I want to say. Yeah, it was 2005.
5 or 6? Or I guess it was 5.
It was 5. It was like the fall of 2005. And we didn't have a drummer. I wanted to be the drummer, by the way. I wanted to play drums and sing, but they
She
were
still
like,
aspires.
I still want to.
That would have been pretty cool.
But they're like, no, you're singing. So we didn't have a drummer, bass player. She played guitar, and she also did some backup. But
I have to say, she's really good.
yeah.
She's a very good guitar player.
Yeah. But yeah, we would just pretty much have friends that would come out to the shows and help us out. And then from there, we got another band member. His name's Yul. He was part of the band also. We did I think that we weren't together for a long time. We were together for 2 years. We released an album, and then she got married. And
Wow.
she couldn't do the band anymore. So then that's when I met Will. And
So totally a completely life-changing, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I heard that you met Will at Guitar Center. You were just walking
Yeah,
by.
I did. he was playing Stairway to Heaven. I'm just kidding.
A horrible cover of Stairway to Heaven in Guitar
No,
Center. That's
but if I
never
recall-
happened
No.
before.
If I recall correctly, also didn't Will appear on your video of Grito Mutual?
That's how I met him.
That
Yeah.
was actually how we met.
He was in another band, and Terry said, "Hey, this is the truth, by the way. There's a really cute guy in this band. Why don't we
What a
get him to
stud.
be
I'm
the
gloating
star
right
in
now,
the
by the
video?"
way.
And I was like, "He's okay." No, just no. So that's how we met. So we were like, "Yeah, do you want to be in the video?" And then he was.
So was he the cute guy in the video, or what was?
I was the
his
only
job?
one actually, so
He was the
I don't
only
know if
one.
that
It was
defaults me as that guy or not, but
it's a cool video. It's
it was fun.
yeah, I could tell that you guys were having a lot of fun in that video. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing was the way it was produced. It was really nice. I mean, you kind of like in the room doing your emails, or then you meet up with him in this beautiful car, classic car.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to relive that, when I watched the video. But it was really nice.
Thank
It was
you.
really nice. So after this, your former team bandmate decides to leave. Then you ask Will to come on board, or how did everything else happen from there?
I don't really remember. I know that we were doing the show. I had teamed up with these other guys, are really, really talented musicians, Inner Fire. I teamed up with them for a little bit. Because they needed a singer and I needed a band. So we were like, hey, let's do shows together. That's how I think we needed a guitar player, and then Will was there. We're like, hey, why don't you join? And then Will came in, and then from there, Will and I started writing, and that's how Love Star was born, I guess.
One thing I was going to ask you guys was, did you guys purposely decide to do music in English and Spanish, or how did that come about? And I guess another part to that question would be, and this is, I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but I was going to ask Will, are you of Latin origins, or are you Anglo-Saxon? I mean,
No, I'm mostly Portuguese,
okay.
but no, I'm not at all. I don't speak Spanish. I understand some, but
What made you really I guess get into the Spanish music? Because or was it just like
It's really interesting because I mean, like myself, I seen a lot of even for myself, English is pretty much like my primary language, but I do enjoy listening, and I'm in this movement of rock en español. but it's also pretty flattering to see like a lot of Caucasian people.
The term is
that go.
Anglo-Saxon, bro. Anglo-Saxon.
I'm offended. No, for me, honestly, I was working at a pizza place. This is how it actually all started for me. And my manager, his name was Fernando, wanted to start a band. He spoke English, he spoke Spanish, but he wanted to sing in Spanish. He had a bunch of Spanish songs. I'm like, cool, let's jam. That was the band I originally had gotten into. Before I left that band is when I, met up with Adriana.
What was the name of the band?
Xenome. And it was, it progressed from like more of like an alternative thing. It kind of got heavier towards the end. It was a totally different style of music from what we play now.
And when you guys first started playing together, did you guys? I got to give you guys some props on your like artwork that you guys have. I mean, it looks professional as hell. So
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's really amazing. It's really cool.
No, I mean, it beats the hell out of people like me printing that shit on sticky labels and just putting your name on there. I mean, it was quality stuff. So I was kind of wondering, did you guys like automatically say, you know what, we want to do this professionally, or was it just like, you know what, I just want to have some fun and I happen to know somebody who knows how to do graphic designs?
No, I mean, I don't. Do you want to answer?
Go ahead.
I mean, for us, we've always took the approach of wanting to do it seriously. That's been kind of like one of our things from the start was if we're going to do this, we're going to like, give it an honest shot and then see what happens. You know what I mean? But it was never like I don't have time to mess around, basically. That's kind of like my mentality as far as, the things I want to do in life. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to go do something else. You know what I mean? Yeah, for our music, for, the artwork, I mean, we try, to the best of our ability and, within our budget and everything else, but try to do everything as professional as we possibly can because if you don't take yourself seriously, then, how are you supposed to attract a fan who thinks, how are they going to take you seriously? You know what I mean? As a musician.
Although I do have to say that stuff like that, it costs money, man, and
it does.
So I mean, it actually really does come through, like on the product. When I see your guys' CD, I think, wow, this is a professional band. I mean, until he told me that you guys were like independent, to me it looked like, and I think that that's what us as independent artists need to realize, that people don't. I mean, it may sound kind of shitty, but people don't give a fuck about if where you're at. What they care about is, does that look like something a label would release? And if it does look like something the label would release, then they probably want to pick it up. And everyone judges the book by its cover. So, like I said, I think that you guys did a phenomenal job on that end. And I don't know, this might be a little too personal, but did you guys do that out of your own pocket? Or was it like you guys knew friends who helped you out with getting that professional work done?
That'd be both. We found the friend, and it came out of our pocket. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Most of it came out of our pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
we had this jar that we got at where did we get it? A swap meet or a thrift?
I think we picked it up at the 99-cent store in Long Beach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or is it a Goodwill?
I think it was a Goodwill, but we started putting quarters. Like, oh, you have a quarter? Okay, put it in here. Joe,
It's
Will,
kind of
and
like the spare change, right? At the end of the day that you have. And you know what? That stuff actually builds up because I used to do that. Next thing I know, I mean, I had like over $100 like in 4 months.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's how one of the tours that we did, we used that money for
New York trip,
gas, for whatever we needed. We're like, hey, we have this. It was like $300, huh?
Something like that, yeah.
And now once we use it, now we keep filling it up. So yeah,
I did see your guys' videos. And it was very interesting because it's a really good way to touch with fans. Because I really, I guess you could say, I fell in love with your guys as people. And I think that when you can accomplish that with a band or with your fans, I think it puts you on a completely different level. And it was really cool, the footage that you guys were doing. And it was just you putting on your makeup right before a show. Mm-hmm. It was you guys, we're here in the car. We're taking off to New York, driving out to the LAMC. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you don't have to put a multi-million-dollar video together. You don't have to do anything like that. And I found that very special from you guys. So,
yeah, and that's one thing that with Steven and Tom, like They talk about that kind of stuff all the time, especially with like a lot of the artists that they work with. Because
I'm sorry for interrupting you. Who's Tom's the guy who
Tom Russo? Yeah, he's the producer that produced our album. Yeah.
Okay.
And Steven
Rosen is his management manager, but he was also a producer at one point.
Excuse me.
They actually started in a band together way back when. That's kind of how they got together. Yeah, they were saying the same thing, because nowadays it's all about, you know, YouTube, Twitter, you know, all those types of things. And the majority of people that walk through that studio, they're not with labels anymore. Like, they're all doing it on their own. It's not about how much money you spend. It's about being creative and like taking what you have and making the most of it. He'll talk for hours on kind of that kind of stuff, because he's really all about that now. And it's true. Like, he shows us a lot of examples of different bands.
Well, like I said, it was just cool to actually see that of a local band, and I'm like, wow, man, this is an example I need to follow, you know?
Thank you.
Well, I think that, you know, also another thing that I want to bring up, you guys are risk takers, because when I see both of you guys, you know, representing Hollywood, when I see you guys, you know, you guys definitely take on a different risk, because I remember you guys doing a promotional CD release at the $1 Million Theater.
Oh, yeah.
And that was quite an accomplishment. You know, you guys ended up getting some sponsors. You invited some other bands. You guys ended up getting, you know, some press over that. And that was pretty amazing. You know, so I see that it's like, man, these guys are moving. You know, they're doing things, thinking completely out of the box. And I still see a lot of bands, they can't do that. They can't get, you know, their shit together and think outside the box.
One thing I do have to mention, and this is no knock on you guys, all right? I'm just saying, it looks like you guys have some funding. You know, I don't know where you guys have your backing from, but it does definitely look like you guys have some funding. The thing is that most bands, I don't know, I'm sure it was very difficult for you guys to get your funding, but most bands are pretty much broke as shit, man. So I think it's not that, you know, that they're not trying. It's just that literally they're counting pennies to make the rent, you know?
You know what? Okay, I may disagree on that, because I do, and I know for a fact some bands that they have funds, but they don't do anything about it. So it's like, it's kind of unacceptable for me to listen to that. And it becomes more of a creativity.
But I do think that Will's, what he said about him really taking it serious, I think that's what it really comes down to, man. Because you know, if you truly take it seriously, you'll find that money. You'll find sponsors.
I mean, yeah, of course, dude. I mean, like, you listen to what they said earlier. You know, they decided to go ahead and save up all the extra spare change that they had. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are ways. We're going back to creativity. So it's like, you know, no matter what, if you're going to be in a band and if you're going to take this art seriously, you got to find ways.
Quick example, like a lot of our outfits, I know a lot of people will ask us like, oh, you know, it looks like, you know, they look expensive or whatever. We shop at thrift stores. That's where we get all of our outfits are from there. We just have to find a way to make your money last. We don't have a lot of it, but we stretch it. And
Goodwill's got jackets for $13, by the way, and that's like the majority of the type of stuff that we wear. So
wow,
but no, I mean,
it does look expensive though. I'll tell you.
It's all about the look, man. But no, yeah, and honestly, we have day jobs too. That's where the majority of our funding comes from. To answer your question.
Nice.
We have jobs, and we choose to set aside a certain amount of money from our jobs, you know, and sacrifice. That could be towards like some new stuff, a new car, which I need, a new whatever. But we set it aside for the band, and we force ourselves to do it. How am I going to come up with this much this month to pay this? Figure it out. You know what I mean?
we have a calendar that we like in January we have a band meeting. And we'll say, okay, for this video, we're going to need, like, let's say $300 or whatever. How are we going to get it? So that's how we budget, you know.
Oh, that's actually really cool, man, that you can sit down with your band and do that. Because a lot of the times, bands don't do that. They don't sit down and they don't talk about the financial end of the situation. And I think that's a horrible mistake.
Yeah.
Well, it becomes important sooner or later. You know what I mean?
Because even you need to meet at least once a month just to say like, besides that, like jobs, like who's gonna do this, who's gonna run this page, or who's gonna I don't know,
assign
just
different tasks
things,
to
yeah.
every band member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And with your guys' merchandising and all that stuff, same thing. You guys just said, hey, we need to print out so many shirts, and each one of you needs to cut down with $300 or whatever the situation might be.
Yeah.
And did you guys
Everything.
do you guys like set like a business plan? Because I know Christian has a 6-month business plan thing that we always talk about on the podcast. Do you guys do anything like that where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is our short-term goals? And
Yeah.
Every year. Working with Tom was at the top of the list last year, and that was
our goal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, they brought this up to my attention a while ago, and I said, yeah, an idea is just an idea, but without a plan, it's just an idea. I
Yeah.
mean, you never accomplish anything because you got to have that structure. You need to follow that guidance.
Yeah, because if you don't like write it down and actually like plan it out, like, by this day we're going to do this, and break it down into steps on how it is you're going to do whatever it is you want to do, it's not going to happen. Like, you're going to talk about it, a month's going to go by, and everyone's going to go, yeah, we wanted to do that, right? Oh, well, guess it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Really, it's a forcing system. You have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in to be successful in anything in life, like, they're going to tell you the exact same thing. The process is the same. Anyone who's ever been rich or successful, you ask them, they're going to give you a really similar idea.
well, and let me ask you this about the fan base situation and playing clubs here in LA. Have you guys found it difficult with the Spanish or the Latin scene, I guess you could say? Or do you guys find it easier in the fact that you guys sing English, so the openings are a little bit maybe wider? Or should I rephrase?
No, I was just thinking, we only really have one song right now in English. I mean, the majority of our stuff is actually in Spanish.
Wow,
It's
'cause
recorded.
I had heard that the EP, I think it was the EP which had the English song, so I figured you guys.
No, it has one.
Yeah. We
There's 4
do.
songs.
We have English songs for this CD, the new album that's coming up. We decided to do
2.
one in English, right? Waiting. Oh well, 2. Well, yeah, 2. We just gave something up. That's okay. It's not a big deal. But yeah, we have 2 in English, and the rest are all in Spanish.
And did you guys just decide like, well, I feel like singing in English, or I mean, did it just come out like that?
I write in both. Lately, like for this album, I really wanted to focus on just writing in Spanish, and they were okay with. I asked them if it was okay. They were like, "Yeah, do it."
It's fine. Don't care.
And have you guys run into any problems with the fan base situation at shows or anything like that, or I mean, is it just rocking for you guys?
We've been pretty lucky. We haven't. Like, I know we played a few shows outside of LA. We played to like in Chicago, for example. We shared the stage with this band, and there was an English band. Everybody there, nobody spoke Spanish, and it was weird. Like, a lot of people bought merchandise and albums and stuff. So we've been pretty lucky when it comes to like audiences, like whether they're Latinos or whether they're.
I think that the product also speaks for itself. You do put out something that's a good quality, then people will listen to it. They'll enjoy it. They'll buy it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting thing, I guess I could ask. What do you guys find success to be? Like, what would you define success to be? And have you guys achieved it yet? Or, I mean, where are you guys at on that?
Do you want to answer?
Yeah, I got my answer.
Go ahead.
It's real easy, actually. But no, for me, success, like ultimate success, I guess if you want to call it making it or whatever, I don't, that dumb term. But for me, it's being able to call this, like, this is what we do. This is 100% my profession, is just, being in my band, and that's it.
There's no other job?
Nah, there's no other job supporting me. Like, I can 100% depend on, us, doing our music, and it's going to pay for itself. And obviously, I want to live as comfortable as I can, make money, essentially.
And do you guys think that you're pretty close to that situation?
I mean, we're getting there. Is
That's
it
our
easy?
goal.
No, but, of course. But at the same time, again, yeah, that's the whole process of growing and getting to that next step and doing those next things to get ourselves to that point.
because it from a consumer end, if I didn't know you guys had a job, I would have thought that you guys were doing that professionally. I mean, like realistically, from looking, from further away as a fan, I would say that it's only a matter of time, to be honest with you guys.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate
And you know
it.
what? I actually do have a feeling about you guys.
Hey, don't tell them about that.
No, it's like I think that there's a lot of things going on, especially in LA at this moment with the rock en español. We've seen like all these shows going on and stuff. I think that what you guys are doing now, it's pretty spectacular. The direction that you guys are going, especially working with a Grammy winner to be able to produce your album. I'm very excited for you guys, and I'm also excited to listen to the new sound that you guys have, because I mean, talking a little bit outside of this with Will, like some of the musicians and like the process, I'm like, I can only imagine what went on in that room in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm pretty sure that most of your fans are gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a good ride for you guys. I honestly think.
Hope so.
No, I honestly do. But
Is there anything you guys really would want to, talk about while you guys are here that you want to let your fans know or anything?
well, I mean, you guys can basically tell us when your album is gonna be available for the fans to buy it. I know you guys have something where you guys are doing a pre-sale, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys explain a little
Can
bit
you,
on that?
yeah, can you let us know a
We're
little bit more?
doing like now you can already pre-order your album. We're gonna have a press day in September, and it's just gonna be for press mainly, but
You guys are invited, by the way.
everybody's invited. Yeah, if you guys want to come down, especially like any band that wants to come down, just come down. But we're doing that, and our CD release it's gonna be in the first week of October. So we haven't decided on the venue yet, but you can, check out our Facebook, and we'll let you guys know as soon as we have it. We're debating between two. That's why.
How about your website? I know you guys have a website. Is it going to be posted on your website?
Yeah,
It will be by then. It's a work in progress. I think we have 3 pages right now up on the thing. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working on it. He said 3 to 4 months. We're like, really?
It's supposed to be out by next month. Our website.
Yeah, I think so.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, I'm sorry. I really, before I forget this question,
Okay.
when you guys recorded your first EP, did you guys record it at a professional studio, or was it like at a friend's house, or I mean, where did you guys record that?
Oh, I love answering this question. Yeah, just generally speaking, if you're working on a real tight budget, the best way to do this, if you're recording, is you need to record the drums at a studio. Pay for the day or two. Have your drummer, or if you can hire somebody or whatever you got to do, but make sure he is solid. Go in there and knock it out in a couple of days and get out of there. You usually can have the bass done at the same time. It's not hard to do. It gives more of a live feel, but if you have to do it at home, that's fine. Everything else, like the guitars and keyboards, you can, if you got Pro Tools and a couple decent, microphones, SM57 costs $100. That's your guitar mic right there. It's it.
Because
You know
the
what I mean?
I recorded the vocals in the room in my
Wow.
friend's
Yeah,
room.
we did the drums at the studio, and then the rest was all done, at the guy's house.
Because that's a huge. That's a huge mistake that I made with our first album that we released.
Well, we made the same.
You guys spent a lot of money at the studio the first time, or
the previous band. Yeah, for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
because that's what I ended up doing. I ended up spending, I think it was 3 years trying to make the album, because it was $300 every month.
Yeah, you got to piece it together. Yeah.
and it was just ridiculous. And I've gotten to the point now that it, like Will said, dude, I'm just getting Pro Tools at the house, and I was actually thinking the exact same thing. Record the drums, because you have to have, that's your foundation for your whole thing.
And it's the drums and vocals are the two things that really make the difference on any album if you really hear it. Like the guitars all pretty much more or less sound the same quality wise. And keyboards too, they plug right in,
Yeah.
But it's the drums especially, you can really tell.
No.
Wow. So you guys pretty much did that EP on a budget, then a really tight budget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice. And with this next album that you guys released, I'm sure you guys were a little better off, a little more breathing room, right, for doing stuff in the studio as well?
Yes and no. But no, yeah, like we did everything over at Tom's. We did this. There's a studio below where his little studio is upstairs for the drums and everything. Same place where like I know Weezer recorded there. I think Pink did an album there and like a few others. But we did the drums there. Everything else got done upstairs in his place.
Nice. All right, Christian, you could roll with your question. I'm sorry, dude.
No, it was fine. I mean, it was something similar to what you asked them, but how can you compare him now, though? You know, going from that stage up to like, you know, to a Grammy winner. I mean, this is huge for you guys, and I applaud you guys for doing this. You know, for taking this big step.
Thanks. I want to say also to like, you know, to the bands that are listening. Like last year, anybody can do it. It's not like you don't have to know someone or because we didn't know anybody, honestly. And we found Tom on a website, you know, because I was like, okay, he was worked with this artist. I like this artist. And then we were like, hey, let's go after this guy. And Will was the gutsy one who went up to him. And here's our press, our press kit. And that's, you know, any band that's out there, you guys can do that too. You just make sure you always have a press kit with you because you never know who you're going to meet, especially when you go out to, like, 2 shows.
What does your press kit consist of?
We have a recent photo of the band. Then we have our music, a demo. You want to have, like, maybe 1 or 2 songs, 3 at most.
No
a
more
bio.
than that, right?
Huh? No more than that.
No more than that.
And if you have like a song, make sure it doesn't have like a really long intro. You know, like it takes a while before the vocals start. You want to have like a song that has a short intro and then the vocals are right away. I don't know. So
It's something very
my
catchy.
opinion.
You just gotta have that hook. It's
Uh-huh.
within 30 seconds that you gotta come out.
Because that's what we've been told. Like, you know,
Yeah,
That's all you get because they're gonna next. You know
they
what
either
I mean?
hear it and like it or not. If you have any shows, like a calendar, and that's pretty much what we have, right?
Press clippings.
Make sure it's also like a night, like a full. If it's like, let's say for example, like a black folder, we always try to stay away from black and gray, so that it can stand out. Like if we give it to somebody, they'll be like, oh, okay, let's keep this.
So creativity basically.
Yeah, creativity
can,
pretty much.
Especially if they're getting a lot of those, like you're submitting for like a festival or something like that. It's like, dude, how more cookie cutter can you look? You look like the last 30 I just saw. You know what I mean?
So you put some like some shiny things on there or something.
Something.
Hello Kitty stickers.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Whatever you got to do.
That was a cheap shot at me because I've got some Hello Kitty earphones that I carry around. So just to everyone out there.
Instagram.
This is really cool, though. I mean, like, see, now, you know, we're sitting here and we're basically just having a conversation. And you guys are actually, believe it or not, you guys are helping out some other bands.
Hope so.
When they listen to this, they'll be like, oh, wow, maybe.
They can help us out. That'd be great, too.
yeah.
We have an email.
We actually a lot of sometimes like by looking at other bands and their websites, you get like they trigger an idea. We learn from each other. You know what I mean? Like even like going to, we love whenever we have like time to go out in the weekends, we'll go to like a band show just to kind of get ideas also from them, their show.
What are your guys' favorite bands? I mean, what do you guys say like, wow, I really like this band? And not like Led Zeppelin, Metallica, not the typical ones. Like maybe if you guys have local bands that you're like, well, you know what, I really dig these guys. I mean, just to kind of get a taste of what your palette is like.
I like Sonsoles a lot. I love their stage presence. There's also Vida Tinta, who I like the way they communicate with the crowd. There's like a lot of bands that I admire for different reasons. Vispera, I love the way they network. They're really cool guys, very humble guys. Ocupado, you know, like there's tons that I can mention and for different reasons.
Christian's shirt, Velorio, would be one.
Velorio.
Great musicians.
Yeah.
Guys are amazing.
I think Christian's been wearing that shirt for the past week, actually.
Well,
the
I
Velorio
hope
shirt.
not.
Well, for them, it's good.
They're getting advertisement.
I know.
But I actually want to touch on, correct me if I'm wrong, Vispera or Vispera. How do you pronounce it? I always have a hard time.
I've always said Vispera, but I'm not sure.
Okay, Vispera.
I got no help for you there, dude.
You know what, dude? I think I'm
this
just going to pick
moment-
up the phone and I'm going to call a guy. I'm going to call Caesar right now.
We're gonna
Go
handle it.
ahead. But I think they're doing a really good job at this moment. There's a lot of movement. They're like hustling. They're like getting their name out there. They're coming out with a new album.
And they'll do well because of
And-
it, for sure.
Yeah, they're just communicating. And again, I did meet some of the guys. I actually had them for one of my shows. Very humble guys. Very cool. Very great attitude. So wish them a lot of success also. That's really cool that you also have a very local artists are also your favorite bands other than the commercial bands. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
What is your schedule like now? Obviously, you guys are going to be releasing an album. Do you guys have any tour days at this moment? Are you guys thinking of hitting the road in the fall? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we have a few dates in mind. The thing is it's kind of already kind of the end of the year, so touring is kind of tough. Just because it gets cold in places like Chicago, and I don't go to Chicago when it's cold. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're going to tour too. We'll hit a few cities, but I think for the most part, it's going to be the spring next year is when we're really going to hit it hard. You know, we are working with the publicist, so it's going to be more about that kind of stuff, about, you know, TV, radio, things like that, to get the album out there and promoting.
We also have a video that's coming out next month for our single. So our schedule has been mainly with that, you know, like just getting everything ready for that.
Yeah, and of course the release. And
Are you releasing the video before the CD?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're releasing the single, then the video, and then the CD.
You brought up a really interesting point, the publicist. I've actually gotten that lecture from my good buddy over here, Christian.
I got the same lecture.
Telling me, dude, you got to get a publicist. And I'm like, dude, I only have the money to record the album. That's it. But can you actually give us a little insight maybe on the angle of the publicist and if it's beneficial or
How
what you
important do you think a publicist is?
A publicist, if you're gonna, like I said, this is again, if you want to take this serious, if you want to just release, you know, do an album and just, you know, for a few friends or whatever, that's one thing. But if you like really want to take this like the business approach to it, in my opinion, you have to have a publicist. Everybody has one. You know what I mean? Of course, you got to do it within your budget and what you can do. But
think? And what do they do exactly for
well,
us?
First of all, they're in the industry. They know everybody already. And all these people that, you know, you can send an email to, make a phone call to, will never call you back. They know they have drinks with them on Tuesday night every Tuesday, you know. And that's the difference. And that's the nature of the business. They're able to reach people and get your music in the hands of people and actually get them to listen to it. They'll do 1,000 times more what you could do in you know, a week, a year, or whatever. And it's just the reality of things, because there's not that many places to go, you know, when you're talking about major newspapers, major TV. There's only so many people that run all that. And you need to have your shoe in, and they're essentially it.
So in other words, sell cocaine, do whatever you need to do to get that money to get the publicist.
Yeah, and the thing is if you're, like I said, if you're planning ahead and you know what you're getting yourself into, and you're able to set aside the budget, or at least you know what you have to get, it makes it a lot easier than, you know, I got my album done. Now what? Oh, let's get a publicist. Oh my God, I can't afford that. You know what I mean? But if you knew 6 months earlier, changes things. You can start setting stuff aside. You know.
But I also want to say something. When before Love Star, like with Grito Mutual, I didn't have the budget for a publicist, honestly. So if you don't, then what you have to do is you have to have somebody in the band who will, because I would hit up every local press, you know, like that I knew or that I would hear
And we
of.
still do that, by the way.
And we
That's
still do
not
that.
changed.
So like if we can't afford like a publicist or whatever, just go out on your own. Like I've seen a lot of bands like nowadays, and I'm like really proud of them for doing that they do it, and they get pressed that way. So I mean, yes, you do need a publicist, but also if you can afford one, just hustle.
It's a job that needs to be done either by a publicist or by yourself.
Or by somebody
both.
in the band, yeah. But both would be better, yeah.
And how much? I mean, you guys don't have to tell us how much you guys paid, but how much does it actually, like? What's the budget that publicists charge nowadays for for getting that job done?
The typical, at least in our experience, they usually want to do like a 3-month campaign. They charge you by the month. So they usually say 3 months is kind of the thing. They would want to at least starting working on your stuff at least a month prior to your actual CD release if you're promoting that. They can do stuff like a 1 month if you're doing like, say you're releasing a video and you want to get a publicist for a month or something like that to help like get you like on some TV shows to promote it and things like that. It just depends on what you're doing, but most of the time it's obviously for the album.
But are we looking at like $6,000, $10,000? I mean,
It all varies, man.
No,
That
I know it
actually
varies, but
I don't know.
I
It
mean,
depends on who you're contacting.
but I guess I want to know, like,
I hope not.
do I need to save up $500 or do I need to save up $8,000? I guess.
Well, and that would be find the publicist and ask them. I really
it
don't.
depends on the publicist. There's some that'll be cheaper, and
And
It's
a lot of
basically,
them are
you know
cool.
what,
They
it
know
really
your
comes
situation
down.
too. You know, like a lot of them say, "Hey, you know, like I'm not with a label. I'm not. You know, I'm indie. I'm trying to make this work. You know, and a lot of times they'll work with you on stuff like that too. You know,
Nice.
But all I can tell you is that it basically, it depends. The less you pay, the less you're going to get.
You get what you pay for?
You get what you pay for, man. And this is something that as you start digging into it, you start researching more what the publicists do. You'll start figuring out what their cost is, how much they charge.
all I know is Pitbull has an amazing publicist.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they're pretty expensive, too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But
paying off though.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
absolutely.
playing in Alaska, I heard.
He's got a Bud Light billboard, man. Come on.
Nice.
you know who else has an amazing publicist? Hollywood right here.
Oh, he's
You're
just
done.
chilling. Yeah, that's Hollywood.
Yeah, but no, and thing about a publicist too, just because you have cash doesn't mean they're going to work with you either.
They're very
they
selective.
They gotta approve. Like they know who they're talking to and who they work with, so they'll know what they like and won't like. You know what I mean? So it's not like an automatic thing either. Just a piece of information.
That's why presentation is important. Like the press kit and the recording. Just
Yeah.
The recording, especially.
Uh-huh.
Very important.
All the photos.
Very
You
important.
got to do a photo shoot for sure. Some type of photo shoot.
Wow, I'm going broke just thinking about this right now.
Well, yeah, trust me, same place.
If you guys could say anything to those bands out there right now that are trying to do that hustle, like what tips could you guys give them? What could you tell them? Hey, make sure you do this. Make sure you don't do that. Besides the publicist, because I'm already getting that one from Christian.
I think they basically answer a lot of things, man.
No, you know what? I do have to thank you guys. 'cause
They're not being
No, thank you guys for
selfish. They're
having
very, they're very informative. Very
Yeah.
open about it.
And if to any band, like I would say, just keep up with the new latest websites. I know it sounds really dumb and stuff, but it's true. Like for example, Twitter, Instagram are kind of like a must.
Technology.
What's
Technology, yeah.
What's Instagram? I'm sorry. I don't
It's
know.
it's kind of like your own private album, but like this is like for example, you can put a picture of you with your Hello Kitty
My Hello Kitty
I
earphones
know.
or headphones.
No, yeah, and people they just kind of look at your album, but a lot of bands are using Instagram as a way to promote themselves now.
Nice.
It's a different way to do it, and it's a fun way. But that's pretty much it. Just don't ever think you can't, because
Well, I think for me, like if I was going to say going back now, like what would have made it a lot easier for us and like, doing things right the first time around. Definitely having your goals and like really sitting down and figuring out, okay, what it is we actually really want to do. And, don't necessarily shoot for the moon at first, but, like figure out some things you
Why not?
actually, oh yeah, I mean, go for it. But I mean, don't expect to be on the cover of Rolling Stone next week either. You know what I mean?
So it's
But,
basically just having patience at the same time.
But you gotta like really take the time and like write out exactly what it is you want to do and figure out like what you have to do to do it.
and focus and work on that.
Yeah.
Have you guys been hit up by any labels at all? Regarding getting signed.
We've had some talks here and there, but an official offer, no.
And well, the reason I was asking that was not to put you guys on blast or anything. It was just
No, of course not.
because I'm wondering, not that labels are bad, because I think that a lot of people think, oh, that evil label, and I don't even think it's like that. It's just that it's like a partnership that you would join, and I'm wondering, how how good of if a label were to come around, how good of a situation is it nowadays, or how do you guys feel about labels?
Well, I've been lucky to talk a lot with Steven about that kind of stuff because he said things have really changed as far as the way labels go. I mean, their deals before, a label, by the way, for people who didn't know, they took about 86 to 88% of what you made, by the way, and this is the old model.
Wow.
So, but the thing is, they're paying for the photo shoot, they're paying for all your promotion, they get you the publicist, they take care of your tour for you. All you got to do is play your instrument and go.
But that was 80% of your CDs, right?
Your CD sales, 86 or 88, something like that.
Because what I've heard from stuff is now that the record labels, a lot of them are doing the 360 deal where they take
exactly
out of everything, including the sticker that you sell.
Yep, it's true. Yeah.
So and you guys haven't really thought about shopping yourself towards labels, or are you guys just happy with the independence you guys have with your own music and don't really want to head that way?
Well, that's something that we're going to be considering now in the next few months, but will it happen? Will it not? It just really depends on what we get put in front of us, and we just make the decision on whether it's something we want to go with or not.
Mm-hmm. And then nowadays, I feel that even because a lot of bands might think that, their goal is to get signed. I don't think that should be like it's not important. Now you can do it with everything that we have now, I think.
Yeah, and there's some crappy deals out there, by the way. So getting signed is not necessarily all it's cracked up to be.
It's not, yeah.
We're sitting here all together, and I'm listening to you guys. I'm enjoying this conversation, but all I can think of is just go out there, do what you love to do, be creative, just completely think outside the box, and then produce a quality, something very good. Have fun. Because that's what I sense from you guys. It's like everything that you guys have at this moment, of course, you guys have worked really hard for it, but you guys are thinking outside the box. It's like, your creativity is coming in. It's like, hey, this is the direction we're going, and so on. And I think it's really awesome, man. And I love the fact, again, I can't address this as much, but you guys are sharing a lot of valuable information for local bands.
And you guys really got your shit together, bro. I mean, I really admire, and this is not, this might sound a little rude. This is not me jerking you guys off here. It's like, seriously, man, you guys have your shit together, and it's like being able to see that individuals like you guys have started out and recording inside of a bathroom or, those places. It's like, well, no, seriously, it's kind of inspiring, man. You're like, wow, well, maybe this dream isn't exactly that far away. And I think that realistically, a lot of bands, the big mistake that we all make, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't thought about this, that you think that by being a musician, you're going to become a rock star. I mean, that's like, it's like you got to think about it more like, this is going to be my job. Like Will was saying, if I could make what I'm making at my job right now, but doing what I love, I think that would be just awesome success, if you ask me, and I get the feeling from you guys as well, that's kind of how you guys view the point. And I definitely wish you guys a lot of success, man, because you guys are heading the right way as well. So.
And can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I'm sure a lot of people know, some of you might not know, we don't have a drummer. So it's just, there's three of us in the band. But if you're out there, if it's just you or just you and a bass player, you guys can make it happen as long as you both work hard and you have a goal in mind. It doesn't matter if you don't have the whole band, like a complete band. So just wanted to throw that out there.
All right. Okay. I hear you play drums, right, Christian?
It's been a while. Not anymore. No, my time's up.
It's all about the podcast, man. Stick with the now, right?
This is so much fun.
And congrats to you guys too on your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've listened to 4 of them, and we've learned a lot. We have, and
I wish this was around back when I was first starting out, by the way. That
even
really
now,
helped.
We were taking notes the other day.
Even right now, but
why didn't we think of that?
That's cool. That's very good. Well, I'm glad, and again, our goal here is basically, supporting the live music and the local talent, and I guess, helping them out with whatever we can.
No, thank you guys for helping us.
Connecting up, basically just build community, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
what we're trying to do.
well, if you can just one more time tell all of us fans where we can pick up your CD when all your stuff is coming out and your website.
Well, you guys can go to, we're going to have a website up soon. It's lovestarband.com. And it will have all our links there, or, you know, for Twitter, Facebook, whatever you use.
Where
But
to
for
buy the
right now,
album.
for right now, you can just go to facebook.com and it's Love Star Band. And right there, you'll get like all the information, like about the CD, the new album that's coming soon.
All right, I'm going to just suggest to you guys that you guys get 2X shirts because there's a lot of us big guys that want to wear your shirt. So
I'll be thinking of you.
nice.
All right, then. Well, congratulations, guys, on your
Thank
success. And again, thank you for coming. And we wish you nothing but the best, you know, on the new album, on the tour, and from here on. And again, I also want to, I don't know, I guess I admire for you guys having the fan club in Mexico and also here in Sacramento. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks to all those people.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having us.